peculiar story. This is in the national press this week. A pensioner was jailed for accusing a school parents of killing and eating babies. Well, apparently you can do that sort of thing, but if you start to name names of people and teachers who you think have been involved, a pensioner accused innocent parents of killing babies and eating them as part of a satanic ritual has been jailed for 9 years this week. Sabine McNeill, she's 74 years old, led a campaign to uncover claims of devil worship and child abuse at a primary school in Hampstead, northwest London. Well, she ran a website called Victims Unite, and I've had her years ago as a guest on talking about what appear to be legitimate claims, not of satanic ritual abuse, but of child stealing by the state. So she's been a campaigner for many years, and I spoke to someone who was in court this week to see this case, to get his point of view. His name is Maurice Kirk.
This is a lady who was one of the original designers of internet and cyberspace and emails. At the age of 21, she was working in Switzerland at the CERN laboratories, and she has been a dedicated mathematician and politician and helps in family courts, and she has set up talks with members of Parliament in the House of Commons about issues that are of concern to all of us. And today I witnessed the worst I could imagine. A lady older than me, she was in a pram being pushed out of the Dresden while we were dropping 1,000 bombers in February 45, and she was 6 months old. And she was being pushed just ahead of the firestorm that killed everybody, because if you drop enough bombs in a single place, they take up all the oxygen, and the people in the city don't get burnt, they suffocate. And that's where she started. And today, she's been made an example of. But the bit that needs to be told is that she's never had a parking fine in her life. She's never broken a law. She has no allegations against her for breaching any minor or major laws. But she got surrounded. Now, you have met Sabine, and I have watched her working, absolutely dedicated at helping people. And this time, she got surrounded by people on their own agenda. I'm sorry to say they were not all women, but they were 75% were nutters. And they persuaded her to believe stories about rituals, child abuse, and more nasty things than that, which we won't mention, but you can guess. They will be in the paper tomorrow. She trusts everybody, and she has been hit very hard today. And I'm very worried because she's not a well person. She's 74. She was, in fact, technically given a 12-year prison term. And the judge said it, owing to her age, it was 9. It was for technically stalking, because she was pursuing particular people who she'd been told were involved with these rituals, child rituals, and breaching restraining orders. She was seriously influenced by these well-educated women who have now run away, of course. I mean, this is life, isn't it? I mean, I've helped people on drugs. When I was in prison, I was doing people's court cases. And you could see that young kids were being dragged into a syndicate where they took the blame, but the ringleaders got away with it. And this is what's happened with Sabine. I'm very concerned. But she believed and trusted the people who put her up to it. And they won't get touched.
So that's Maurice Kirk there, and I'll put the full version of that on our show page at thisweek.org.uk. Bit of a weird one, but 9 years in prison for a 74-year-old for what she thought was pursuing what the police weren't doing. I mean, basically her allegation was that the police hadn't done a proper investigation into this case and that there was some kind of child abuse, and it's pretty clear that there wasn't. That's a long time to spend in jail for a 74-year-old, Mike.
It is, yeah, but if somebody had told you 10, 15 years ago that they'd discover up to 200 babies' bones in an Irish Catholic orphanage from the Sisters of Mad, you wouldn't have believed that sort of thing, but that things have been uncovered, isn't it? So it's not beyond the realms of possibility, is it? I mean, who would have thought the scandals coming out of Ireland would...
And of course the Jimmy Savile case as well.
Well,
Anyway, look, time for
yeah.
the Comcast US-owned news at 7 o'clock. Now, thanks to our guest, Labour councillor for Brislington East, Mike Langley. Join us after the US-owned Comcast news at 7 as we spread our wings around the world.
BCFM is an award-winning community radio station for Bristol, bringing you national news on the hour.